Imagine falling asleep in the freezing cold of the north. The howls of wolves echo through the dark forest outside. The wind cuts like blades of ice, and the snow falls endlessly, covering everything around you. You're deep in enemy territory. Every sound could signal an attack. The tension is thick in the air, and yet you sleep. Not just sleep, you're out cold. You sink into a sleep so deep that nothing, absolutely nothing, can wake you. The danger, the fear, the wild nature surrounding you, none of it is enough to pull you from that slumber. Sounds impossible, right? But that's exactly what the Vikings did. Ruthless warriors, men and women forged in battle, blood, and storm. And yet, they had the deepest sleep in human history. Today, centuries later, scientists and sleep experts are still trying to understand how it was possible. How could anyone sleep like that in such a savage, threatening world? Did the Vikings know something about sleep that we've forgotten? The Vikings were far more than just warriors. They were explorers, traders, and seafarers who mastered the icy waters of northern Europe. Their homeland was harsh, defined by long winters and endless nights. For much of the year, the sun barely rose and darkness stretched on for hours. Freezing temperatures, relentless winds, and a bleak landscape were just part of the challenge. Their homes were simple, built from wood and covered with straw and moss. Comfort was a luxury they simply didn't have. Danger was always near, from enemy attacks to injuries in daily battles. And yet, in the midst of all this, there was one thing the Vikings did better than any other civilization of their time. They slept deeply and rested in a truly restorative way, no matter what was happening around them. Archaeological studies have revealed something fascinating. The Vikings slept like rocks, even under extreme conditions. It wasn't just ordinary sleep. It was deep, restorative rest that left them ready for anything, whether on the battlefield or during their expeditions. What caught researchers' attention was how well Viking bones were preserved. In excavation sites, there were no signs of sleep disorders like the ones we see in our modern society. What seemed to be a unique trait of this civilization was that, unlike many ancient peoples, the Vikings left no trace of insomnia or sleep-related issues. On top of that, Norse literature, like the sagas and poems, often mentions vivid dreams and divine messages received during sleep. For the Vikings, sleep wasn't just a physical need, it was a spiritual experience. So what truly allowed the Vikings to have such undisturbed sleep? How did they manage to rest deeply in the middle of chaos and danger? There are several reasons why the Vikings were able to sleep so deeply, even in such a harsh and threatening environment. Let's explore some of the factors that likely contributed to their restorative sleep. Viking house architecture. Viking homes, known as longhouses, were designed to withstand the extreme conditions of the north. The structure was simple but efficient, with thick wooden walls and roofs covered in straw and moss. These houses offered crucial protection against biting cold and icy winds. At the center of the house was a large fire, which not only heated the space but also provided light during the long winter nights. Placing the fire in the center helped distribute warmth evenly, creating a safe and cozy environment. On top of that, the shared warmth from sleeping close together helped maintain a comfortable temperature and a sense of security. Sleeping near other family or group members played a big role too. Human body heat created an ideal temperature for deep sleep, while the closeness provided emotional comfort and protection. Viking diet. The Viking diet was simple but effective. They ate foods rich in natural fats and proteins, such as wild game, fish, and dairy products. This nutrient-dense diet gave them the energy needed to endure the physical demands of daily life. Fat intake also directly affects sleep quality, since it helps regulate hormones involved in rest and recovery. The Vikings also drank fermented beverages like mead and beer. Though alcoholic, these drinks were consumed in moderation and often brewed with calming herbs. They also drank herbal teas with ingredients like chamomile and lavender. These natural drinks helped relax both body and mind, making it easier to fall into a deep sleep. Daily physical exhaustion. The Viking lifestyle was incredibly physical. They hunted, rode, and fought, and that level of intense activity required full recovery during sleep. A body worn out after a hard day's work would naturally slip into deep rest. This daily exhaustion was a major factor in ensuring they slept soundly. In addition, their constant training for battles and expeditions demanded not only physical strength, but mental endurance. Such intense physical effort created a natural need for deep sleep, allowing their bodies and minds to recover properly. Natural cycles, light versus darkness. The Vikings lived in sync with nature's rhythms. In an environment where daylight was limited during the winters, their bodies adjusted naturally to the patterns of light and darkness. The absence of artificial light, like modern electric lights and screens, allowed for a healthier production of melatonin, the sleep hormone. During the long winter months, the darkness helped trigger deeper and more restorative sleep. Without artificial distractions, the Vikings weren't interrupted by noises, lights, or digital stimulation at night. The silence of nature played a big part in improving sleep quality. Culture and psychology. Viking culture was rooted in resilience and constant preparation for death, a mindset that helped reduce anxiety. This stoic view of life, where death was accepted as natural, allowed them to let go of excessive worry and focus on the present. They were ready for daily challenges and battle, but also understood that rest was essential for survival. Dreams were also deeply meaningful in Viking culture. They believed dreams carried messages from the gods or visions of the future. Because of this, sleep was seen as sacred, an opportunity to receive divine wisdom and guidance. This belief likely helped calm the mind and made it easier to fall into deep, restful sleep. Today, our lives are very different from those of the Vikings, but also much more complicated. The modern world offers us incredible comfort and convenience, but paradoxically, that may be hurting the quality of our sleep. We are constantly bombarded by artificial lights, noises, and endless stimuli, from phone screens to street lights shining through our windows. All of this interferes with our ability to rest deeply. The blue light emitted by screens, for instance, suppresses the production of melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. What could be a simple night of rest becomes a struggle for both the body and the mind. And worse, with hectic routines, anxiety, and high levels of stress, many people struggle to slow down and relax enough to get proper sleep. On top of that, the modern diet, full of processed foods and caffeine, makes it even harder to fall asleep. Unlike the Vikings, who ate calming, natural foods, we often consume things that keep us wired, sometimes late into the night. So here's the question. Even with all our modern technology, are we sleeping worse than the Vikings? They lived in extreme conditions, yet slept more deeply and restoratively. What do the Vikings know about sleep that we seem to have forgotten? The Vikings didn't have spring mattresses, yet they could sleep as if the world around them simply didn't exist. They lived in harsh conditions, freezing temperatures, with none of the modern comforts we have today. And still, they managed to make the most of what nature provided to enjoy deep, restorative sleep. The secret wasn't in luxury beds or expensive medicines. It was in the simplicity of their lives, their connection to nature, their intense physical labor, and an environment that encouraged rest. They were in tune with natural rhythms and relied on ancient wisdom to take care of their physical and mental health. In a world without distractions, and with sleep aligned to nature's cycles, they could rest deeply and recharge for the challenges of the day ahead. Now, here's a final curious fact to leave you even more intrigued. Tribes descended from the Vikings, especially in Iceland and Norway, still follow many of those ancestral sleep habits. And guess what? They have some of the best sleep quality on the planet. While modern life has its benefits, it seems we've lost something essential when we forget the simple practices of our ancestors. It makes you wonder, in our pursuit of technological progress, have we overlooked ancient wisdom that could actually improve our quality of life? Viking sleep teaches us that the best rest might come from living simply and in harmony with what nature has to offer. If you're fascinated by how the Vikings slept and wondering what else they did better than us, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. In the next video, we'll uncover the secrets of Viking mental traps used in battles and how they can mean the difference between life and death. If you enjoyed this content and want to learn more about Viking life and how their practices can inspire us, leave a like, share with your friends, and drop a comment telling us what else you'd like to discover about this fascinating culture. Don't miss the next episode. The Viking mysteries continue.